people here want to have the ability to override everything our politicians do. Put your hand up and make some noise.
Now, initiative and referendum, I think, is something that's catching on right now. In fact, the Attorney General of the state of New York has proposed that voters have the ability of putting on the ballot all consolidation and merging suggestions. So we could think that we're just beginning the effort, but it's really starting to, to catch on. I also would want to mention that I think that we need a county and county charter commission that would review all the functions of government, and a state constitutional convention, because New York State has more layers of government than any state in the United States. And if we're going to reduce taxes, we have to reorganize the way government is run in New York State, and the best way of doing it is through a constitutional convention. It would be made up of elected people like yourselves, and we could rethink the way the entire government is run, and I think at the end of the day we'll come up with a government structure that makes more sense. And finally, I'd like to mention, some people said, why did I ride my bicycle here instead of drive a car? And the reason is I can't afford the gas.
Everybody, let's give this man, let me tell you why he's a special guy. He is a lifelong Democrat who doesn't go with the Democratic machine. He goes with what the people want. He goes with what the people want, and he has pissed off every Democrat in that building for the last 20 years. He has pissed off every Republican for the last 20 years. He's a man who caters to his constituents. I used to live in Greenburg, and that's why he's standing on this stage with me. I would call him on a Sunday night at 10 o'clock. He'd get on the same bicycle, and he'd come to my house at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night because I had a problem. I had an issue. That's my friend Paul Feiner. I want everyone to give him a great round of applause. Paul Feiner.
I just want to mention, when I suggested that they eliminate county government when I was a county legislator, former chairman of the board at Brady threw a gavel on me. So I used to have to go to the county legislative meetings with a hard hat.
Hold on a second. Hold on, Paul. Do you want to give the people your cell phone number?
So, if you want to get involved in this effort, you can call me at my home, 478-1219.
Hold on a second. 478-1219.
And
that's his home number.
And my cell is 438-1343. And my home is, my office is 993-1540. And I promise to get back to everybody the same day. And I also want to mention, I started a group. There's an awful lot of unemployment out in Westchester, and that's one of the reasons why we need to rethink the way government is operated. So we formed the Job Club, and we've been helping people identify jobs. If in your company there's job openings and you let me know, I'll share it with a list of people. If you're out of work and you need help in finding work, you should feel free to call me. Again, my home's 478-1219. And also we have a LinkedIn, www.linkedin.com, and it's called Greenburg Jobs. And I've been posting almost 1 or 2 jobs that are open that I become aware of a day. So I'd be more than happy to help anybody here in your efforts, because it is stressful for everybody.
Thank you, Paul. That is a true public servant. Now, let me say, this issue, like I said earlier, is not a Democratic issue or a Republican issue. This is a people issue. We can't trust that either party. I was a Democrat first. I became a Republican, and I was so disenchanted and so disgusted at both parties, I became an independent. Okay? Now, let me tell you the importance of having more than 2 parties. You need to have 3, 4, 5 parties like they do in Europe, because the Democratic machine and the Republican machine have a hold a tight hold on everything that goes on, and behind closed doors, they all work out deals that benefit them both. They all work out deals that benefit their friends and their contributors and their allies. We need to create or build. We need to build a third or fourth party. We ask that people start supporting independents. We need independents. In order for us to compete with the Democrats and the Republicans, we need to put people in there who are not aligned with either party, who are aligned with the People's Party, who are aligned with the Independence Party, who are aligned with the Working Families Party. We cannot afford to continue operating the way we have been operating. We have fallen asleep at the wheel for way too long, and it's going to come a day, just like in 2000, the economy went down the tubes with the internet bubble, and 2 years ago, all this predatory lending caused us to be in this recession. I promise you, unless we do something in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, the next shoe to drop will be the real estate shoe, and it's going to affect every single person that's standing out here. It's going to affect every single person who owns a home, who owns a condo, who owns a co-op, or every single person who even rents an apartment, because when the landlord's taxes go up, the tenant's rent has to go up. So we need to stand together on this. United we stand, divided we fall. I'm not a politician, even though he wants to run for politics because he really believes that we're headed in the wrong direction. He has a show up in Yorktown in Northern County called the Seniors Forum. It's on Cablevision. And he advocates for change, and he's been advocating for change for a long time. He's up here because he's a friend. And Andy Spano was on his show about 6 months ago, and Nick posted a few questions, very serious questions that benefit everybody here, on a piece of paper, and gave them to Andy Spano before they started the show. As they started the show, Andy Spano read some of the questions to himself, grabbed the paper, threw it at Nick, got up, and walked off the show because he didn't like the questions that Nick asked him. This is my friend Nick P. Tomaso from Yorktown Heights.
Yay! Thank you, Jack. On that occasion, I just want to point out the person that made the questions up, and I like to give her the credit, Kathy D'Amato. Yay! In Yorktown, that lady is known as the sewer chick. Why? Because she took on local politicians. Always use some more supporters. She took on local government, she took on county government by herself. And I dubbed her the Erin Brockovich of Westchester. Yeah! You know, I think I've lived long enough and I can reminisce, and I know a little bit about the history of America. And as I look over this crowd here, and I'm taken back to a time, just close your eyes, imagine yourselves being back in the year 1773. Now, for those of you who don't know what happened in 1773, let me enlighten you on a bit of history. You know, someone once wrote, the problem with government is that they try to resolve problems with the same level of thinking that created them. 236 years ago, the English crown, then the ruling government of the colonies, needed some way to pay for the costly French and Indian War. The crown came up with the idea, politician, by putting a tax on tea. Now, I'm sure you're all carrying that same cargo. Those 3 ships came into Boston Harbor and brought a load of tea. Let's see our tea bags. got our tea bags. Let's see our tea bags.